And finding myself in being an entrepreneur, I appreciate the experience for what it was because it allowed me to find what it really is that I like to do and that I care about. But it does haunt me every single day. Sure. I'm not going to hold you up on that.
It's a bad reminder of, I had this thing, it was great,
Man, it was rocking.
Then I screwed it up somehow, and now this is where I'm at.
I never oversaw
and I'm paying for it.
I never oversaw it.
It's hard to dig that dead body out of the closet and deal with it.
Welcome to the Rental Property Owner and Real Estate Investor Podcast, brought to you by the Rental Property Owner Association, providing benefits and services to real estate investors and rental property owners for over 48 years. With your host, Brian Hamrick from Hamrick Investment Group.
This episode is sponsored by Green Property Management, managing everything from single-family homes to apartment complexes in the West Michigan area. Find out more at greenpropertymgt.com. And RCB and Associates, helping real estate investors and small business owners navigate the complex world of health insurance and Medicare benefits at rcbassociatesllc.com. Hello and welcome to episode 168. So I'm sitting here at the RPOA conference today with Ramon Harris II.
Hey.
He is a wholesaler and flipper from Wayne County, the Metro Detroit area. His company is called R&R Investing Group. And he and I got to talking, and I thought, Ramon, that you would be this would make a great conversation for the podcast for a number of reasons. Reason number one is because I don't get the opportunity to talk to people from Detroit as much. We're on the other side of the state in Grand Rapids. Detroit is the other side of the state.
Yeah.
I don't hear enough about that side. But you also have a challenge that you're facing.
Yes.
And because we're at the RPOA conference and it's such a great networking opportunity, I'm also sitting here with Patrick Spitzley and Justin Workman, both friends of the podcast who have been on numerous episodes. I thought that the challenge you were facing would be a great roundtable discussion for both Justin and Patrick, who have experience in your area to kind of help you out with.
That'd be great.
Okay, so why don't we start with just tell us a little bit about yourself, Ramon.
Quick background. All right. I was working at Quicken Loans for the last 8 years. I ran a team of about 20 people. We primarily listened to the bankers' phone calls and gave critiques, kind of like coaching opportunities. One day they brought us in a room and they told us that we would no longer have a job. I remember that day very vividly. So at that point, I put my investor hat on. I already had a couple rental properties at the time. I started investing in about 2015. This debacle happened in 2017 with Quicken Loans, and it just kind of forced me into a full-time investor. I started off doing contracting for a few of my mentors. So when I first left Quicken Loans, I had a wholesale deal on the table, and I made $2,500. It was very easy. I made a phone call. I made another phone call, and I sold the property. It was kind of 2 phone calls. So I'm like, hey, I can do this all day, every day. Like, this shouldn't be a problem. So I talked to my wife. She told me that, she was confident in me. If I felt good about it, that I should do it. I left Quicken Loans May 31st of 2017, and I've been doing real estate investing full time ever since.
All right. So tell us about your track record. What have you been doing? How are you making your money?
Yep. So like I stated, when I first left Quicken Loans, I left under mentorship of some guys who had just started a new property management company. So they kind of put me in a project manager role to oversee these 10 properties. They were doing rehabs on them. They're like, hey, man, oversee these contractors. You do the payments. We don't really want to talk to them. So I was like, all right, no problem. So I kind of jumped in full head of steam, and I just became a project manager kind of. In the interim, I was doing wholesale deals. So in 2017, half of that year, I think I did 6 deals in 2017. So I had a pretty decent year, and then I was running the crews, doing the contract and stuff in 2017. In 2018, I actually was introduced to my current partner now, and he wanted to expand his rental portfolio. So I put my wholesaling hat on, and I was able to wholesale 18 deals last year, primarily all to one person. He added them all to the rental portfolio, and the things that we didn't hold, they ended up being our flips. So we did about 6 fix and flips last year. It was great. I learned a lot. Again, rehabbing these rentals, so I learned a lot about, what needs to go into a rental property in Detroit compared to like the suburbs. And then the fix and flips was kind of the exact same thing. It's like, okay, the standards and the work methods that are required in Detroit are a little bit different than they are in the suburbs. So understanding that was also an amazing challenge.
What are some examples of things you would
it's
have
a lot
to
of
do in Detroit?
it's a lot of break-ins. When you list a house in Detroit, you don't want to put a sign in front of the house. It's just little stuff that you do that I didn't know starting off that kind of tips people off that the house is vacant and it's fully rehabbed and everything in there is nice and pretty. So, we no longer put the for sale signs in the front yard, just small things, just let the neighborhood know that the house is done and ready and vacant. We try to keep sitters in the properties during rehab now.
You mean have someone living there?
Yeah, we have somebody staying in the property now. On the properties that we don't, we screwing the doors shut with the star bit screws, and so making sure that if they break in through a window, they can't get out back through the door. They got to try to go back out through a window. So if you got a furnace or a hot water tank, maybe a little tough to get out the window. You know what I'm saying? So just little tricks of the trade that we figured out over last year that was able to help make our flips be successful.
And what are some of the economics? Like how much are you picking up these properties for?
Yeah,
how much
great
are you
question.
putting into them? And
So we normally pick up properties for $20,000, $20,000 to $30,000 for our flips primarily. Our rental properties, we try to get them between $5,000 and $10,000. The goal is to try to be all in for like 30, 35 on the rentals, and then of course fix and flips it is what it is. If we're in like a Bagley area, so we sold a house in Bagley for $125,000. I was recently just telling you about that one.
Yeah, for those of us who aren't familiar with Bagley area, how would you describe that?
Bagley is it's like a suburb in Detroit. It's right outside of another suburb called University District. So University District is where like U of D Mercy, Wayne State. So the colleges are kind of right in University District, and then Bagley is kind of directly to the side of it. So they're kind of close to each other. So those are more the prominent areas in Detroit, and they're on the west side. So the areas that people mainly want to be in are on the west side of Detroit. So you have like Boston Edison, which is like a historical district. That's on the west side. You have Sherwood Forest, Bagley, University District, and then when you go to the east side, you have like East English Village and some of that stuff. Of course, downtown, you got downtown, midtown, Corktown. But east and west side is primarily where you're able to find the best deals. Downtown is the bigger companies.
The downtown core is pretty
it's
pretty hot
hard
right
to get
now.
in there. Yeah, so go ahead.
Are you looking in all areas then?
Yes. So the way that I normally get my properties is we focus on the auction. So I go to the Wayne County auction every Thursday. It's at 11 o'clock, and they just do a kind of a free for all auction, and it's throughout the whole county, and they give the starting bid for the properties. You're able to go get some money and actually bid on the properties. But our strategy is we actually do door knocking after the auction. So we get the numbers. So whether it sold or didn't sell, we now have the final number. We run our numbers with Zillow, and of course, put to the MLS to kind of pull comps and comparables. And anything that has a margin of a certain number, we take those houses and we door knock them. And that's pretty much how we get most of our inventory.
This auction is at your local sheriff's sale?
Yep. Like I say, downtown Detroit every Thursday, 11 o'clock. They go. It's the foreclosure auction. So any houses in Wayne County that are being lost due to foreclosure, you'll find them there.
They still have a 6-month redemption period post-sale, I assume?
Exactly. Yep. So that's primarily what I'm targeting is that 6-month redemption period. So I don't buy houses at the auction. Our strategy is after the auction. So I'm attacking that redemption period. So we're knocking on doors, trying to get in touch with those owners to try to do a cash for key scenario so that we can get the deed and take it from there.
Right.
I guess I don't want to miss out on anything.
Shoot.
I love the strategy. I just want to fill in everybody else that's unfamiliar with the process.
100%.
Essentially, after the sheriff's sale,
Yep.
there's a redemption period of 6 months to a year, depending on the parcel.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're doing is you're essentially getting a quitclaim deed from the current owner.
Correct.
You have the sale price at which it sold at auction,
Mm-hmm.
but now you have 6 months or up to a year in some cases in order to redeem that property since
Correct.
you are now the owner of it.
Correct.
So that's the beauty in the strategy is that the purchase price, what you got to pay for it, it's locked in, and now you have control of that asset and where it goes from there.
Beauty. That's an amazing point. And so we just did a house in Belleville. It was a condo actually, and we were able to get cash for keys, rehab the property, list the property, and sell the property before redemption date. So we never even had to pay redemption. So in certain scenarios, you're able to get in, just do a quick rehab, pay your cash for keys, and not even have to pay the big nut, as you would call it, or the auction number, which is normally a little bit bigger.
Can you talk about what you mean by cash for keys?
Yep. So pretty much, so as Justin just explained, during the redemption period, the homeowner or the person who's on the deed can go and redeem the property within 6 months. So I would go to that person and knock on the door and say, hey, this is what I do. This is how we do it. Based on the condition of the property, I'm able to offer you a number. I would need to go run some title work to make sure there's no other liens on the property. But barring any other liens and based on the condition, I'll be able to offer you X. And of course, that number's always negotiated and haggled back and forth. I got a guy blowing me up right now for four grand. He going crazy. But we had, the lawyer didn't. It was a probate situation. The lawyer didn't. We don't got the green light yet. I'm like, I can't pay you, bro. Like, you got to wait. So, but it happens. So yeah, so negotiation pretty much starts after we run title and we do a walkthrough of the property to see what the damages are.
What's the typical amount that you're finding when you're exchanging cash for keys?
$2,000 to $5,000 normally. Well, I take that back. $1,000 sometimes. $1,000 to $5,000 is normally what you can get. The lower areas, 1,000, 500. Again, you want to just give a number to entice people to move. Your goal is to say, okay, I need you to be out within 30 to 60 days. So again, you want to try to give yourself as much time, during that redemption period as you can. So the dollar amount is just an incentive for them to move in a timely manner.
And are they typically taking that money and using it to get into an apartment or a rental or something?
Yeah. In most cases, they don't have a deposit. So that's normally how I'll gauge that number. I'll say, okay, so where are you trying to move? They'll tell me where. And I'll say, okay, so what is the rent? Where are you trying to, oh, well, it's $800 over there. Okay, well, so first month security deposit, that'll be probably about $1,600, correct? Cool. So, it may take another $500 for a moving truck, right? Right. Okay, so about $2,100 we should be able to get. So I kind of talk them right into, what I'm saying, the number based on what it would take them to get somewhere else. And that's kind of how I do it.
I'd like to take a moment to tell you about Green Property Management. Not only do they manage everything from single-family homes to apartment complexes in the West Michigan area, they also manage my entire portfolio. So I can tell you from personal experience that their unique flat fee management style is worth a closer look. If you feel that your property isn't operating to its fullest potential, then Green Property Management can help you take a holistic approach that will save you money, eliminate your headaches, and increase your net income. And if you're a property manager interested in applying Green Property Management's model, give them a call at 1-866-95-GREEN or visit them on the web at greenpropertymgt.com. So how often are you successful with that?
So I normally get 2 to 4 properties a month with cash for keys. And again, those processes take 30 to 60 days to actually play out. So again, I may get the agreement signed, today, February 22nd, but we may not actually get this person out of the property until April 22nd. You know what I'm saying? So it takes time to actually get the whole thing done, but I normally get 2 to 4 a month comfortably.
So you have a good system for getting these properties. The challenge, I want to get to the challenge now that you're facing because this is something that you were telling us about a little earlier. How are you funding these deals? Where are you coming up with the money for cash for keys? Where are you coming up with the money to buy the property and do the rehab?
Right. Beautiful question. So currently I have 2 partners and we do 50-50 joint deals. So they put the money up. I bring the property. I do all of the paperwork to get the deed in our name. Some of my guys, they'll let me put the house in my company name, depending on how busy they are at the time. Some guys will put the house in their name, of course, just for comfort. I'm not tripping either way because I do my part. But I get the property under contract. They'll pay for the keys. If there's a probate situation, they'll pay for the lawyer fees. So like the duplex that I pitched earlier, that's a probate situation. So we had about $2,300 for the lawyer. And they normally put the money up front. For the rehab, I have a contracting company, so I do all the rehab. So I'll just give them an estimate of what the rehab will cost. They'll fund the rehab, and then we'll move on from there. So it's normally a 50-50 joint venture deal on primarily all of my deals.
But they're bringing all of the capital.
Yes. Yeah.
So what's the challenge you're facing? Right
so the challenge that I'm facing is as the market continues to shift, there's less and less flip opportunities, but there's more and more rental opportunities that are there where there's 20 to 25% equity, in some cases 30% equity in these properties that I'm running into where my investors are saying, well, it's not really a flip. and I kind of just let the deal kind of go because I don't really have any funding to put off the transaction. You know, whether we're doing like a BRRRR method or, you know, any type of long-term investment strategy, I don't really have the money to put up to redeem the property and then let it season to pull the cash back out. So I'm kind of falling into a place where I'm passing up those deals that have margin because I don't have the funding or the particular person who is looking to fund that type of transaction. So I'm kind of just I'm letting stuff just fall by the wayside.
So these would be deals that would be great for you if you could buy it, do the BRRRR strategy, hang on to it, and then, you know, fix it up and then rent it out and then eventually refinance it.
Yes.
But coming up with the money to hang on to it for yourself, that's the challenge. That's
the challenge. And even as a long-term partnership, I think that would be great as far as the rental. You know, I'm not looking to have this partner just, you know, put the money. If they want to, that's cool too. But, you know, if they want to be a partner in the business where we can create something together, you know, I'm all about creating value for others. So that's kind of where I'm looking to find out how can I, you know what I'm saying, find somebody that meets that criteria. It's kind of my thing.
Patrick, I know you have worked with investors to fund a lot of your deals. Justin, I know you're more of a, you know, finance it yourself kind of guy. I'm wondering what both of you would say. So
when I first started needing lending and needing private money, specifically in my case, I just approached people that I felt would be open to a conversation and that I knew had some level of wealth.
Yep.
And in a couple of the instances that I was involved with, there was a certain level of trust there. They'd known me since I was very young, or a baby in one case. And they knew that I could bring them value, that I could bring, you know, the overseeing of the construction. I could find the deal. I could sell the deal. So they knew that they had a certain level of security in giving me money. Yep. And I think it was, you know, they evaluated their risk and they figured out what the return was that they needed to get. And in my case, I've never given away a deal, so I've never gone 50-50. Yeah. And that's given me some freedom I can flip it if I want and sell it quickly. I can hold it forever as long as I'm willing to pay, you know, 10% on my money long term, which is not a great play long term. But I would rather buy deals paying somebody 10%, but keeping 100% of the deal.
Come on, stop playing.
Especially if it's in an appreciating area and I like the rent rates.
I loved how you said I've never given away a deal at 50%.
Well, I haven't yet. I'm not that I'm not open to it for the right deal, but I haven't been in a position where I had to.
You mean you've never partnered in a way that you have a partner that actually has equity in the deals that you've done? You've merely done debt borrowing, like you borrowed money at a 10% interest rate.
I've never shared in the equity. I've only borrowed money. Therefore, I've had 100% control of the ultimate destination of that deal.
And Ramon, so tell us how you're structuring your deals.
Yeah, so right now it's a 50-50 split, and it's exactly how it sounds. So they'll put the money up, they get all of their money back. They normally don't charge me any percentages on the money because, of course, we're a partnership at that point. So I'll find the property. I'll give the estimate for the rehab costs. They'll fund everything. And then once we list the property, minus selling it, closing costs and expenses, we'll split the top number 50-50 is normally how it works.
If you are thinking of leaving your W-2 job and becoming a full-time real estate investor, one of the greatest costs you must consider is healthcare for you and your family. When I made this transition 5 years ago, I found the whole healthcare insurance process to be confusing and frustrating. That's why I'm glad I met Chad Creasy at RCB & Associates. Chad is a professional healthcare insurance agent who helps real estate investors and small business owners understand and choose their best healthcare options. And best of all, his services are covered by the insurance company and won't cost you a dime. If you are expecting a change in your healthcare insurance coverage for any reason, or losing employer coverage or transitioning into Medicare, then you owe it to yourself to contact Chad Creasy at rcbassociatesllc.com.
In that, you know, I'll find the house. You know, it might take 2 months for us to actually get the house. Now it may take another 3 months for us to actually fix the house. So I'm 6 months into a deal, and then I may make 10 grand. You know, the total profit may be 25,000 after everything. So I may get 12.5, or I may get, you know, it may be 20,000. I may get 10. So it's like 6 months worth of work going hard. And like you say, I don't really control the destiny of the property. It's like we have to sell it at this point because they put the money up, and then I'm like, man, it's time to do it all over again. So like my thing is right now I'm running real hard, but it's like, how can I get more creative and creating passive income with the deals that aren't necessarily flips. Not saying that I want to stop flipping, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, how can I get better leverage and kind of get in a position like you were just explaining, Patrick? Again, I've never had a deal that was 10%. Because again, everybody's looking at me saying, well, what? 100,000 getting back 110. Well, how much you gonna make? That's the thing that's going on in Wayne County a lot. They looking at it saying, okay, well, yeah, I see the money there, I see the profit, but well, how I'm only getting 11,000? So it's a lot of pocket watching, kind of. You know what I mean? So I don't have anybody that's a personal family friend, so I'm pitching it to people, and when I pitch it, their eyes light up, and they are immediately thinking, well, if I'm giving you that much, well, how much, and of course you gotta, you show them the whole numbers, and at the end of it, it's like, okay, well, I fund this, but I can't pay you percentages on the money. That's not gonna work.
But keep in mind, so what's your average period is what, about 3 to 4 months?
Yeah.
So if someone puts up 100, and they get 10 or 20,000 back, that's a 10 to 20% return in 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
So you keep rolling that and create velocity throughout the year. Pretty soon you're up to a 40, 50, 60% return on your money because you keep that money moving.
Yeah, and that's the goal. Again, so that I can eventually be like Justin and not always need every time I go do a deal, or if I get something that I want to just do a quick go in and clean it up, I don't have the cash, because again, it took me 6 months to make my 10. Now I got 6 months to bills chasing me. You know what I'm saying? So again, my contracting company is what keeps me afloat, because again, we do a lot of work, so I'm able to stay afloat that way. But it's like, I shouldn't be in this position. Again, I know how to find houses, I'm getting deals, but I'm getting and it's not the short end of the stick, because I'm not putting no money up. It's just time and sweat equity. But at the end, it's like, I feel like it's a lot of time wasted. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just trying to get better at that.
Yeah, and I agree with you to some extent. When you're starting out, you're doing anything you can to get in the business. I mean, that is what the heart and soul of this is you're doing anything you can. You're fighting, you're struggling, you're trying to make a buck on it. The problem you're at now is you've passed that beginning stage where now I personally feel like you're giving up way too big of a percentage on these things. Like you say, if you can borrow private money, you'll save yourself $5-10 grand a deal.
Or even hard money.
I think that could be the next step, is find somebody that'll do hard money. You're still going to make more per deal.
And that's what I'm looking for.
I think that's really the next step. Mm-hmm. Now, I'd love to see you move forward and take that money and start using it yourself to redeploy and build on from there. But it's the getting started stages. And now the beauty is you're unlike most people out there. Mm-hmm. Most people come to the lenders with no track record, no history, just the idea of the fact that they're going to do this. Yeah. You have an amazing track record. You have the numbers and the stats behind you. Yeah. They can easily determine how you're going to be able to do this. I guess in my mind, I would definitely start looking for private money, and worst case scenario in the near future, I'd definitely just go hard money. Mm-hmm. Like you say, what are your rehab costs?
Rehab costs, they range. Again, it's
ballpark
20 to 35,000.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's like
now the beauty of your strategy is you're not putting money down or up for the house at the beginning. So all you're looking to do is borrow, say, 30 grand or 40 grand. Mm-hmm. Say we borrow 40 grand for 6 months with a hard money lender. Yeah. They're going to charge you 15% and some points.
But will that lender be in first lien position if it still needs to be redeemed?
They would.
Yeah, they would be. They would not be. They'd be in second position on the redemption.
But they second to a sheriff. They second to a sheriff deed.
Yeah, they are second to the sheriff.
That ain't going.
And you're still in the redemption period.
So as long as you've got your quick claim deed, they're safe.
As long as your quick claim deed's ahead, you'd be fine.
And we can always put the quick claim deed in the investor's name. Again, I'm never tripping on that, because I know that I don't get paid to the end. So my goal is to get this thing to the end. You know what I mean? So, but that's
worst case scenario in my mind, we'll get back to it, is I envision with that process, with a hard money lender, you're probably in the $600 to $7,500 range. Versus giving up 12 grand. Right. You've already made $5,000 more in that deal.
Yeah, off rip.
Yeah, if you would go with hard money with the paying points and everything else, because the dollar amount you need is so minuscule that I bet you could work out a great deal with them.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to find those guys, because like I say, back home, every time I present that, they saying, "Oh, well, yeah, it's only so short term,
Yeah.
50-50.
Well,
You know what I'm
but that's the problem is they're looking out for their best interest too.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah.
looking at the long-term success rate and the possibility of growing this year after year. Like
Yeah.
Brian said, all of a sudden your guy that's partnering with you, he's earning 40+% on his money in a year. People would go crazy for that. Where I think if you find the right guy, and I would move on to hard money right away if you can't find anybody in the near future. I mean, obviously wrap up everything you got going. Don't burn any bridges on your way through, but even opening up the door to other opportunities and going back to your current partners or current lenders, partners, and saying, hey, I've got this opportunity. Will you match that opportunity, or I'm going to be forced to go this way?
Yeah. See, they know all of like I said, my guys know who I'm going to go try to get money. So they know that it's like, okay, we'll go to him, but he gonna make you put, you know what I'm saying, 20% down, or he gonna make you put, you know what I'm saying, he gonna make you buy the property first, and then he'll pay the rehab costs, or vice versa. You know, he'll buy it, and then they know that I can't do that. So then it's kind of like
You're at a standstill.
you know what I'm saying, bend on over again. You know what I mean? Come on back, 50. I got you though. I fund it. It's not a problem. You know, I got you. And what I'm gonna say? All right, man, come on, let's do it again. You know what I mean?
So, and we were just talking to a hard money lender here at the conference, in the West Michigan area, and he's like, "Oh yeah, over in Detroit, that's the going rate." So what Ramon's talking about is kind of the going rate with the 50-50 split the profit kind of thing. So then the question, I think the next question then is, you can go to your current lenders and see if they can do better.
Because they trying to build a rental portfolio too. So it's like, now we got conflict, because it's like, okay, I'm using your money to build my rental portfolio. And they like, well, hold on. Well, if that's the case, well, I just take them down, and then, you know, it get weird. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I got a little off topic question, because I don't know the market over there.
Yeah, shoot.
You're doing the contracting work. You own a construction company doing the work.
Yeah.
What are you getting paid to do the work? Are you getting paid a current rate, or you're not getting paid anything but the percentage of the
You're not even paying
profits?
yourself for the contract
No.
work.
So this year we working on, I get 10% of, so this how they was paying me. So I was getting 10% of the total rehab cost. So if it was a 30 grand rehab cost at the end, I get $3 grand. But I'm giving them everything at cost though. You know what I'm saying?
And rehab costs, that includes your crew.
Yeah.
Are you guys subbing out electricians, plumbers, getting permits?
Yep.
Okay. All your materials are in that 30 grand, and your crew's getting paid an hourly wage.
They get paid like per job.
They get paid per job that they're doing.
So if it's like, all right, I need y'all to do this.
You need to do a roof, you need to do a bath, whatever. They're
So
getting
whatever
paid
that
a bid
number
price
is.
essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. And
because I sub everybody. So
you
everybody
sub
in the
everybody
line
out.
is 1099, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. But you are not making any margin on any of those numbers. Essentially, now you're getting 10% on the whole rehab.
They put the 10% in there, last
to
year.
motivate you.
Because
But
I was
you're not
sad.
getting
Yeah, I
paid
was
a
sad at the end, because at
dime
the end of
on
the flip, like you say,
you're getting 50%, but you're doing all of the work.
But I did everything.
And it's your company, and that's where I'm looking at it.
And then you give me a W-9 at the end of the year, or 1099 for $250,000. But when I look at how much money I made on that 250, I might have made, you know what I'm saying, 10 grand on 250. But a whole bunch of, it looked like we was making a lot of money, but I'm really just paying out a lot of money. You know, I'm managing money. It's pretty much what I'm doing at this point. So it's like, it's weird, man.
No, I completely get it, because I think everybody starts in that same situation where they do not have the capital needed and they just need a boost somehow.
Yeah.
I know Patrick's done it too, where in the beginning he did other jobs. He did jobs for people where he got paid. You go out and bid your work and you get paid to do work. You know, but is that an opportunity that you can look at on top of all you're doing? I know you're swamped, you're busy, it's crazy, but can you pick up a $10,000 job here and $1 job here and there, doing one of these remodels for somebody else?
So that's what we've been doing. This year I've been trying to, first quarter, that was my goal, was to get some more clients outside of my current partners.
Yep.
Because again, I don't really make money on them. So again, it's cool, and my guys are staying busy, which again, as a contractor, when you put your contractor hat on, it's like, well, as long as my guys staying busy, that's good. So my guys are happy, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I'm running all this money through my accounts. I ain't making no money. So like you say, I've been picking up like, all right, let's get this ramp, or let's pick this up. Just little side
Build a
stuff to try
deck, do a bathroom, do a
that's literally what
kitchen,
we've been
you know,
doing,
just little jobs.
Yeah.
But all of that will add up to money in your pocket where you
So
can
it's been
actually go out and pick up something on your own.
It's been helping. So I got 2 rentals. I currently have 2 rentals. I bought a house last year that I'm 50-50 on. We should do pretty good. It's a flip. So I every time I make a chunk, I go buy something. You know what I'm saying? So I'm never like sitting on money or jacking no money. I literally put it back into the business, buying my workers a vehicle or a truck or, something to make sure that we keep, working and moving. So it's not that I end up broke because, like I say, I will take the nut and then go buy a house. Like I say, like I bought a crib this year in Inkster. It was $3,500 in taxes. So I'm like, all right, well, shoot, it's $3,500, little 2-bedroom frame house. Come on with it. 1-car garage, let's do it. But it need a full rehab. So now every time I make a little money, I'm like, do that plumbing over there. Put that siding on over there.
Is that yours that you're keeping?
Yeah, that's my, yeah. So that's one of my rentals so I got one rental that's in place. They're right across the street from each other. So I got one rental that's in place that's working, and then the one that I bought last year that I'm trying to slowly but surely, but it take forever at the pace that I'm going. Because again, when I make big nuts, it's time to go pay my bills back. You know what I'm saying? I have to go, honey, that credit card, let me give you $8,000 on it. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been using it, you know what I'm saying, to live for the last, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the issue that I'm getting into, is where it's like, all right, like you say, I'm past the point where I'm a beginner. It's like, I know how to get houses. That's not the problem. If I can just do 6 flips a year and add 2 rentals, I'm super happy. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't even trying to be a 30 unit, I ain't trying to do volume crazy, because I don't need it. I just need to where when I do flip something, I at least feel like I can go on vacation for a minute and be like, bro, I just went through 3 months of going hard on this property, and now I got something to show for it. Like I say, I'm getting done with it. And then as soon as I get the check, closing day happen, you do the little closing day, and as soon as I get it, I'm like, shit, I'm broke again. You know what I'm saying? It's cool, but it's like, damn, I'm rich, then I'm broke again. You know what I mean? So it's and then, the contract and stuff literally keeps me afloat. You know what I mean? Like, my contracting businesses.
So why don't you do the contract? It seems like your business model is broken.
So it's shattered a little bit.
Yeah, it's broken, because look how hard you're working.
Yeah.
And each house you're making $5,000-$10,000.
Yep.
Well, if you were doing that same work as a contractor, you'd be making a lot more money and keeping that.
Yep.
So and then you'd have more money to put into.
Talking to Jeremy last night, that's where I feel like
Jeremy Cole,
y'all from the Gritty to Pretty show.
Yeah.
He that's our difference. Is he just got a builder's license? He swing a hammer. I don't need to necessarily swing the hammer, but to have a license, I'll be able to get a better client. I can go into retail and go get a client. But right now, I'm the investor guy. Like, all the investors want to come work with Ray because they know, first off, I really don't have no license, so I can't charge them that price. My HVAC guy, he licensed. Plumber, he licensed. Electrician, he licensed. But everything else is like...
And with a license, you can get discounts. I'm a licensed builder, so I get some discounts that are offered my way.
So my investor, he asking me right now, like, Ray, other people are getting 10% off at Home Depot. We spend $95,000. Like, what? So they looking at me saying that. So that's where I'm looking at that, saying, like, maybe I need to go get the builder's license, because...
You can do it. You're already qualified to do it.
You're more than qualified to do it. I'm a licensed builder too. We have been for years, because it makes sense when you're in this business to get that license, because now you can pull your own permits. Yeah. Me and Patrick are in the same boat. We do work on houses. We have guys that do work on houses, but it's so much easier to be that general contractor and be licensed. Yeah. And the other thing is, it helps you out working with other people, because now you can legitimately do work for others. You can pay what you're worth.
Come on.
You're working for nothing.
Come on, man.
You're a smart guy. I mean, you gotta get after it.
I'm in a position where the guys who I'm working for, I'm gold to them. Oh, yeah. So they don't want me to change the position. And again, there's no hating on them. They're my guys. Like,
you want to move to GR and work for nothing? We'll be happy to have you.
There's plenty of positions available.
You could get a job in a heartbeat.
We need you, Grand Rapids.
That's what I'm saying. Right, it's
work
crazy.
For you here.
And that's what
make a lot more
I
money.
met your dad. I go to the gym with Brian's dad, and he awesome. That's who invited me to this. And he see me every morning. And I'm in the gym. Some days I got my... He like, Ray, what's going on? How's it going? I'm like, man, I'm just tired, Rick. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, they blowing my phone up. I'm the guy who got to coordinate everything. DTE turn-ons, water shut-ons, water shut-offs, all of that. So I do all that. Literally, all my investors do is just, hey, so it's like, man, it's cool, and it look good from the outside, but, again, on the inside, it's like, man, y'all getting rental properties stacking up. I'm not even getting no rentals stacking up at this time, so... I'm looking at y'all. Yeah, I'm getting envy, because I'm like, man, I'm helping you build your portfolio. But then when I ask you to throw me something back or fund this one for me, all right, this one $13,000, lady already in place, $750 a month, just buy it for me, and I refinance it in 6 months, and they be like,
Another piece of margin that you might be leaving on the table is if you're flipping and these are getting sold, there's real estate agents that are getting paid.
Yep.
So I eventually transitioned to where I was representing myself as a real estate agent. Now I own my brokerage.
So I just took the class. So that's another thing. So
Great.
But going back to Brian's point, it's like I'm doing a lot of. What am I gonna be good at? Like, what is you? And that's where I'm frustrating myself because it's saying, bro, you gotta pick some. I don't want to show nobody a house.
Yeah, but you can list your
But you
own and
can
say
list my own
3%.
stuff. Yes,
That's a piece
100%.
of margin on a flip
And
you'd be
that's
able to keep.
And I'm trying to figure out what's more valuable, being a realtor
Sure.
or being the builder, because I feel like my personality is more here.
Yeah.
That 3% cool, but if I can get what I'm worth on this side, I feel like it'll pan out.
But what's the problem with being both though? Because with
Yeah.
both,
Yeah.
you're doing it. You're doing
Yeah.
more for yourself.
I did the same
and
thing.
keeping
I had a
more of that
realtor's
profit.
license too for a while, but I've never listed a house. So
And that's kind
and
of
that's the hard part.
Be.
Is you build up these relationships with other realtors
I
and
got
stuff
'em.
like that, and you've got them. So you've got to
Yeah.
keep those relationships established.
Yeah.
And part of me was always, well, it's just the cost of doing business.
Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it.
You-
What for the realtor
you
cost?
gotta-
'Cause I'm
yeah.
like, do I want
You don't
want to
take their job away from them at the same extent, and they help you out. They find
Yeah.
you deals. There's other advantages
Of them.
to
Yeah.
keeping them close. You
So
know?
I feel like
I
that's
think,
kind of the
yeah.
the route that I like. Like I took the class, I failed the test. I didn't even study for it. I 7 questions, right? So I took the class. I went and took the test real quick. Then I'm like, I only failed by 7 questions. I should go retake it. But there was no motivation because I'm out here chasing money.
Yeah.
So again, I'm saying, okay, even if I go get this realtor's license tomorrow, is it gonna make me some money tomorrow? No.
Sure.
I need to go do some contracting stuff.
Yeah,
So
you
then
need to
that's
go get
where
a
I'm back.
builder's license is what you
So,
need.
so
You
as
got-
an action item, what's the cost and time in getting a builder's license?
I think a builder's license is like a 40 or 80 hour course.
60
hours. Okay. It's been a long time since I've done it. So.
Yeah, 60 hours.
I mean, it's been 10 plus years. So it's a course and then it's a test.
Yeah.
But if you're out there doing it, I think you could pass the test in a heartbeat. I
Easily.
remember it as being very easy. Yeah.
I've been kind of scared of it, and see
No.
I don't swing the hammer. So that sound like, did you swing the hammer really? Or
It's
not really?
Kind of. Started
okay.
that way, yeah.
Started that way.
Now, the biggest thing that I think is interesting is with the builder's license, it's not about how to build a house.
Yeah.
It is about how to run a business, how to be ethical,
Yeah.
how to read and understand the code book.
Okay.
They're not
And
going to
prints.
teach you how to swing a hammer.
Yeah.
They're not going to teach you how to.
That was what I was
plumb
worried
or
about. That they was
build
like,
a
oh,
wall.
well, what is the,
It's,
you know,
it's the code. It's the ethical portion. It's how to bid a job.
Yeah.
That's what they try to teach you in that
Okay.
course. You're
That's-
supposed to have some of the field knowledge going in,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
you already have.
Heck yeah. Hey, I know all of
You
it.
know?
A lot of the stuff I know. Again, I ain't never done it, but I stood there and said,
Yeah.
that don't look right, bro. I've been around a long time, enough transactions. Like, that ain't right. I know
Yeah.
that ain't right.
No, so I think course of action.
Yes.
I would sign up for a builder's course as soon as you can.
Okay.
Get your builder's license.
Okay.
I would also hunt some hard money down
Yeah.
if you're going to continue down the real estate world.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think with your connections and even being here,
Yeah.
some of this networking stuff
Yeah.
will bring opportunity for you.
I think so too. That's why I came up
It
here.
may not be today, it may
Yeah,
not
true.
be tomorrow, but I think
Yeah.
you being around and present,
Yeah.
somebody's going to flock to you.
I
You got
I
a
believe
great
that.
personality.
I believe that.
You're moving and shaking. I love it, you know? I mean, I just remember the day. You do too.
Very
You
well.
can't deny it. You love those days.
Very
Back when
well.
the market was great, you were just going crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
Still am.
I
Right,
know.
hey, killing it. I already know, and that's where I look to be. You know, I aspire for you guys. Like my mentor guy, his goal this year, his name is Todd Chun. He amazing guy. He don't mind being on. He love this type of stuff. His goal is 20 wholesale deals a month, $100,000 a month in wholesale deals. So like he going crazy, and he does. You know, he's the one who kind of fathered the method that I use, except for he don't door knock. His crew, they all on the phone. So he got like 10 dudes, like as soon as the auction drop, he like email them the list, and they like walking 7, they going crazy, and they calling, you know what I'm saying? So I attack it a different way because my team isn't very skilled on the phone. Like I can get on the phone and do well, but if the rest of my guys ain't good at that, what's the value? So we can get in front of people though and get them to, you know, see our way and negotiate that way. So like you said, I found my way. I don't need a whole bunch of, you know, I don't need millions of dollars behind me. Like, no, I just need one dude who gonna say, all right, Ray, look, when you get it, if it meet my buying criteria and it meet the numbers that I like, and you can bring me the evidence that show that this is gonna make sense, you know, from a realtor standpoint, I'll fund these deals at the percentages.
Well,
that's really what I'm looking for. Really.
So it sounds like part of it, though, if you've got it sounds like you're doing great at getting
good.
the deals, like finding the deals, and you're wholesaling some of them too.
I sell most of them. Yeah.
Are you keeping the profit when you wholesale?
Yeah, my wholesale. That's
what's your wholesale profit versus your flip profit?
Wholesale is like $2,000 to $6,000 a house.
$2,000 to $6,000 a house, and what's your average flip profit?
Flip is probably 5 to 12. 5 to 15. It's like somewhere like that.
So if you
75
do
to 15.
3 wholesales, you make as much as you do on one flip. But how? So what's easier to do?
Wholesaling has slowed down. Like I said, I did 18 deals last year.
So that's the problem. Is wholesaling has slowed down, so you're not making as much money.
It's not easy to find an easy deal because there's so many people that's looking now. So like I say, towards the end of 2018. Low-hanging fruit was few and far between. So I started looking and saying, okay, well, how do I handle this shift? Because again, everybody, they don't see the market continuing to go up. They feel like this is it. So all the sellers want to raise their price because they seeing all of this hot market stuff going on too. Where do I fit? And again, where I see myself being is I can really take advantage of rental properties in this market because there's equity there. It's just not enough for a flip. If you tried to flip that same house, it wouldn't work. So that's where I'm at. It's two things. Like I say, it's cheaper money on the flips and then a guy who's willing to put money up for long-term rentals that'll allow me to do the BRRRR strategy to get in, get out. And even if we stay 50-50 partners after we did BRRRR and they got their brick, I'm not tripping. I mean, of course, I would love to be 100%.
Sure.
But if that's how they want to do, because they want to build a portfolio as well, like I'm always willing to create value. That's how I've been able to get in this position that I'm in now, is providing value for other people. And I don't mind continuing to do that. You know what I'm saying?
So it seems like we have two ideas for you here.
Things,
So one idea for you is get your builder's license, become a contractor, make your money being a contractor instead of a flipper, and then use that money to fund your own flips and BRRRR strategy.
Yep.
The other option is to find a hard money lender or a private lender who's going to give you better terms on the money so that you can just move forward right away with what you're talking about, buying the flips, keeping them as rentals.
100%.
What any other options?
Justin will fund your deals.
Hey, now we got to get off of this podcast before we start talking that. I walked into this blind, so it's all, I didn't know what was
all
coming
new.
on. Yeah.
We ambushed Justin.
We
Justin
should have
had no idea what
never
this
brought this on a
conversation was gonna be about.
podcast. We're going to cut this out. No, I think there's a lot of opportunities, and there's a million ways to go in life. You know, I get your struggle. I mean, that's the hardest part is you're not making enough money per month to make it work. The month comes up and you're out of money and it's starting all over again.
That is the issue.
You got to find a way to end that cycle.
Yeah.
If we can end that cycle for you where you can start building up a little bit more money and staying ahead rather than behind, you'll be great. I guess I can't say we've all, since Vetch just borrows money left and right. But I mean, I remember the days of being so cash poor because you just bought a house and you just came across another deal, so you got to buy another house and you're scratching to finish this flip or get done with this remodel. And by the time I get first month's rent and security deposit, I'll have enough to finish this one.
That's exactly what I'd be saying.
I've been there. I know that feeling. I mean, it's like yesterday is the bad part. Yeah. But it was so much fun. We just got to figure out a way to get you a little bit further ahead. Yeah. And I think having a builder's license,
I think so too,
will help you do that, because if you have the ability to make an extra couple $1,000 a month,
that's it.
That's all you need. That's the difference between continuing to partner 50-50 and really buying a rental portfolio. Yeah. I mean, because your rental portfolio, your rental prices are not that expensive.
No, they're not.
And once you get rental properties completed and tenanted, you have the ability to finance those should you choose to.
Stop playing.
I borrow money all the time, according to Justin, so I can relate to this. But where I'm going with this is once you get that money back out, that could go into the next rental, and then you can fund your own rental, and then that one can be completed, and you could place debt on that. But this is debt at 4 to 6%
low
debt.
money
This
debt.
isn't giving half away or paying 20% to a hard money guy. So if you can get one rental property done that could then be leveraged at a more of a market rate debt, you could then create a second and a third. And all the while you're collecting rent, and that rent will generally well offset your mortgage payment, and there'll be a spread there. Yeah. And that's all passive income, and that's just all going in your pocket. So now you don't have to be out hustling, wholesaling, and building, and all the other things that you do to make money.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that's how we really got started. I was in your shoes. I mean, we would do a flip, it generates some cash, we'd do another flip, and then we'd buy a paid-for rental.
Right.
We'd go out and do the same thing again and again and again. And all of a sudden, that rental income builds to where you don't necessarily need to sell as many anymore.
Come on.
You know?
And that's why I say, if I can do 4 to 6 flips and acquire 2 rentals a year, man, I'm happy in the mud, because I know that will, and I can find it. And then, and like you said, I'm not chasing. Again, right now in the pipeline, I got 3 flips for this year already. And I'm ready. As soon as the spring break, we're going to jump right into. So I'm kind of preparing myself for my 4 to 6 a year. Now I just got to figure out, okay, well, now how am I going to get my rentals going to supplement, so that I'm not, like you say, at the end of every month, like, oh, all right, I'm about to get some money from. You know, again, my rentals, my 2 houses are free and clear. But my one renter, I put him in there. He don't pay all the time, so he ain't consistent enough really for me to go to a bank. But I really would like to do borrow on that house, because it's probably worth 40. He in there, it's a good property, but he don't pay. I mean, he don't pay on time.
You can get financed regardless of if the tenant is paying or not. It's based on your ability to borrow, not the fact that they're paying. Now that said, you'd much rather have a tenant in there that's paying for sure.
Right? Yeah, that's fine. And because I had a trucking company, so when I was at Quicken, I went on this whole like, all right, let me make money. You know what I'm saying? So I created this trucking company, and it grew rather quickly. So we was doing like $300,000 a year. But I'm working at Quicken Loans 50, 60 hours a week. To be honest, I never even rode in my trucks. Like I had three trucks. I never even sat in them, like, ever. Like when we bought them, I had somebody else drive them back from out of town. Like I never sat in them. You know what I'm saying? So I just wasn't hands-on. I was doing it for the money. So the business it fell apart. You know what I'm saying? So credit-wise, I'm strapped on credit. I'm still paying. I pay $2,200 a month right now in truck payments. To this day.
You still
right
own
now.
trucks?
Yeah, I still got them. I don't even
But
want to
they're not
touch
making any money?
They cost more money. If you don't do it right, they'll cost you more money than the notes will cost me.
You
and that
can't
was the problem.
sell it. You're upside down on the trucks.
Yeah, they ain't worth it, so you can't sell. So I've been looking at like Amazon stuff, but like I say, for me, it's better to just pay the notes and just leave them sitting there than to try to put them back on the road with people who don't care, and that I don't care to manage. Like, it's a tough situation with the trucks. So that's what killed me on the credit side. Like, I had great credit when I was working at Quicken, but I tied myself up with these trucks and I shut the company down. I'm like, bro, the last month 2017 September, that was the last month, I had 20 grand in repairs that month. Over 3 trucks. It's like, dog, the trucks only they was making 28 to 3,500 a week.
Yep. If your credit's shot already.
I'm at like 620. It ain't bad. But it's stretched out is what it is. Like all my stuff is like maxed.
I'd try working a deal out with whoever your note holder is on the trucks.
Yeah. They terrible.
I know. And I understand that. But
I feel like I'm
you'd be better off either selling the trucks and having a note on the difference. Because what's a truck worth?
They tell me they worth like 15,000, 10 to 15,000.
Okay, and what's the amount you owe on it worth?
One of them I owe 30, one I owe 24, and one I owe like 26.
Okay, so we're talking about a difference of say 10 grand a truck. So you're 30 grand upside down in this thing. You would be better off selling them today. They're a higher value today than they would be worth in 10 years when they're paid off.
Very true.
And getting a note for the difference, or working out a deal for the difference.
I tried to get one of them back to the people, and they told me they'd give me $4,200, but it had to be up to specs. I'm like, man.
No.
So you want me to go fix the truck?
No, don't get tied up in that.
So that's the type of stuff they was on.
You gotta either work out a deal with them and say, hey, there's a good chance you're not gonna get this back, and just tell them, hey, I'm broke, I got nothing. You gotta pitch your sad story.
Yeah.
But the worst case scenario is you sell them off and you get a note on the difference.
Yeah, that's what I've been working on.
Find somebody that'll lend you the 30 grand, and you can pay on that 30 grand. It's
much easier, way less
than $2,200 a month. Man,
I tried to refi because my house got like 70,000 equity in it. So I looked at that, but I'm like, man, I just don't want to tie my house up. No truck debt.
I know you got a rental property that's going and functioning. What's your rental property worth?
About 40.
About 40.
Yeah, it's free and clear.
What would happen if you sold that rental property, got rid of the trucks? It frees up $2,200 a month in cash flow.
Man, that'd be great. I know
it hurts one dream, but it's going to help build your dreams long term. $2,200 a month, all of a sudden.
$2,200 a month is $26,400 a year.
You own another rental property at the end of the year. just by clearing that up.
Yeah.
You've solved your debt issue there, which is going to help your debt to income if you ever try to go do a BRRRR strategy later on. I know you got the one, and I know
And
it's
that's
your
what I've been
dream.
trying to. I've been trying to hold it.
Sell
'cause
this thing off.
I could probably sell it
Get
for
rid of the trucks and be in a much better financial position moving forward.
I could.
Now
And
all
less
of a sudden,
stress.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now
I
all of
could
a
sell my
sudden you
house
got
for sure.
$2,200 freed up to invest
Yeah.
instead of paying. The tenant
Like I
doesn't
said,
pay anyway.
He
Get his
definitely
ass
gonna pay.
out
His
on the
ass
street.
terrible. Oh my goodness. He paid whenever. I'll be like, come on, dog.
Yeah.
Then he'll come up with everything. You know, as soon as you about to, I'm
I
about
know.
to evict you, he'll be
But-
like, here go all of it. He's like,
But there's a good solution to get started and help
Yeah.
out your personal finance end,
Yeah.
which will help out your business
Sell the rental.
finance end
That makes sense.
in the near future.
So explain it to me. So
Okay.
you're saying to get
So
what he
I'm
should
saying
do
if
is
so essentially he owes, say we're gonna just round numbers for fun. He owes 25 grand on a truck. He's gonna sell it for 50. Well, he's gonna first sell off his rental property for 40 grand. He owns it free and clear. So essentially he's got 35 grand in cash.
Yep.
In cash in his hands. He's then going to go sell off the truck for 15 and
They may
pay
not
the
sell for 16,
15
maybe
and the
10.
10 grand
Yeah.
to the lender on the truck.
Yeah.
Okay, he's going to do that with all three trucks. In the end, he's going to clear all the truck debt off the books. You're not going to sell and trade it in and get jack for the trucks, do
Yeah.
some homework, get a good price for them.
Okay.
At the end of the day, he's freed up $2,200 a month that he was paying.
Yeah.
That $2,200 will buy you a rental property in the next year, 6 months.
Yeah, it would. Especially, I can get one in Inkster for sure. I can get a house in Inkster for sure. They
I
just
know
like
it.
Detroit.
I know it's your first one, and there's a sentimental attachment to it. And I got the same thing, with some of that first property stuff.
Yeah.
But if you clear that up, it's going to put you in a much better financial place in the future. Much better.
Yeah, and owning trucks is a depreciating asset.
Man,
Yeah.
the trucks is
hold them,
terrible. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
People-
man.
They're just going down in value. That's why you
Stop
got to
playing.
get rid of these things as soon as you
trucks
can.
is
yeah.
terrible,
So
man.
those trucks are
Yeah.
the bomb you just dropped in this conversation because we came in here thinking the problem was you're on a
You're on
hamster
a
wheel
downward spiral,
working
yeah.
too hard trying
'Cause,
to flipping and everything.
'cause
But the
even
problem
the
is you've got a $2,200 a month bill that you
Yeah.
got to pay for these trucks that aren't producing any
that's
income.
what scared me about going to the builder's license because I feel like I need to focus on that. Like, because I don't really know. So I feel like that's like going to a class that's like that
But-
you don't know nothing about. But I got to run, though, to pay these bills every month. And that's kind of the problem. It's like I don't really have no time to just be like, all right, let me go take 6 weeks off real quick
Yeah.
or 60 hours, whatever
Yeah,
it is.
1 week.
Let me go take this
Online
off.
at night.
Yep.
That's the answer.
Right.
I
Just
did
do it
mine all
online.
online, and it was all videos. And
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like I'm scared of that because I don't know if I know the basic stuff. You know how you go in like a statistics class and you don't know, so take a statistics online opposed
Ram,
to taking it in
You are more than smart enough to
pass
this
it.
thing. You could go in today and pass it. I'd put
Sounds
my
like it
money
to
on
me.
you.
Think so?
Definitely.
I know. I just
Do
ain't never
you have
looked
to
at
take
it
the
right.
60 hours?
You have to take
Yeah,
the
you gotta
60
take the 60
hours.
hours, yeah.
But no, I think the real solution is if you would clear up this debt and
Yeah.
that payment. Like you say, if you want to flip 6 houses a year and you make
Yeah.
10 grand on them now with your partner,
Yeah.
that's 60 grand a year. That should be enough to live on. Not that you're living the high life,
I
but
know
you're
what
going to
saying.
live on.
I'm straight. Yeah.
Okay. Now with this truck going, you got 26 grand a year to play with. 26 grand a year in your market is going to buy you a rental.
Oh, you know I can get a rental for that. And like I said, I
All
tried
in.
to refinance my house because I at the end of the year last year, I looked at it.
Yeah.
You breaking down everything. You're like, all right, man, what is the issue here? Like,
Yeah.
I make money monthly. You know what I'm saying? Like I do 5 to 8, 10. We make money monthly. But again, it's just like
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
well,
in and out.
if
It's
you're
in and
making
out.
$5 a
It's in
month,
and out.
half of that's going toward paying
toward
for
the
your
trucks,
truck.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then my mortgage 1,000. Like you
Yeah,
said.
It
so
doesn't
it's
take
all
long.
gone.
It's like
Yeah, straight up, right? Insurance on the cribs. So
Yeah.
it's all the stuff it adds. That's really the thing. You say you dropped that bomb. That
Well,
was good. You good. I like that. That's what happened when you dig deep. It's like, no.
It is.
the
But it
rental's
took a
only
long
bringing
time.
hundreds of dollars relative
Yeah.
to $2,200 a month. That's
It's
a
a
pretty
no-brainer.
obvious exchange
Yeah.
to
I see
make,
what you're
right?
saying.
Yeah, and it's a great thing to do. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to help you out so much in the future. It's going to ease up a lot of stress
You're right.
too.
That's 100%. That's real talk. All right. I never even thought about selling my house because I'm trying to get more of them. Like you say, like the goal is to get more. So you holding that as like,
Oh, yeah.
it's my one rental. Like I don't want to. But I guess you're right though.
It's I don't know if Patrick was the same way, but when you're flipping houses too, there's always like an attachment to them. It's like, I really
never
don't
went
want to
back to 'em when
sell
they were
this.
done.
I really don't want to sell
I
this.
never go back. Hey,
Yeah. No.
once they say we done and they put the lockbox on it, I don't want to go back and see it. No
I
more.
know.
And no buyer gets my number. I'm not looking to tell them how to turn their electrical breakers back on.
That's
or,
me.
Or
That
get the
is
hose
me.
outside working again once I don't know.
Oh my goodness, that is me.
But you feel like you put so much time and effort into these things, or your babies, you know. So it's tough. I get it.
Yeah.
The same thing with the rental property. It's like, I know you don't want to do it, but you got to look at it's a long-term goal. You know, you're taking steps day by day, and it's part of it. It's going to provide you a much better financial future just by getting rid of this thing.
Yeah,
Because you're not in the financial place to, you know, live on that passive income yet. You got to get this other stuff cleared up first before you move forward with your life.
I agree.
Clear up that debt.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got to wrap this up.
No, this is great.
Patrick, you have any
This is
final
awesome.
thoughts?
What, you got any other bombs to drop on us?
Yeah, what else are you not telling
Nothing
us
else.
here?
No, that's it. That's my only thing. I just had
a
these
second
trucking
family
company.
somewhere?
No, everything else is par. But that trucking company, that was my, and it's interesting because, like I say, in finding myself in being an entrepreneur, like, I now understand doing stuff that you truly care about. You know what I'm saying? And that was really why the trucks didn't work. So I appreciate the trucking experience for what it was, because it allowed me to find what it really is that I like to do and that I care about. But it does haunt me every single day. I'm not going to hold you up on that.
Well, and it's a bad reminder of, you know, I had this thing, it was great,
Man, it was
and then
rocking.
I screwed it up somehow, and now this is where I'm at.
I never oversaw
and I'm
it.
paying for it.
I never oversaw
you know,
it.
It's hard to dig that dead body out of the closet and deal with it, you know? I mean, that's where you're at. You got to just deal with it, get on with it, and move on with life.
I like
mean,
that.
you're a mover and a shaker. You're going to do wonderful.
Oh,
in
no,
life.
you know I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah. We just got to get some of this little stuff out of the way so you can really kick it.
Oh, no.
The three
It's
main
cool.
action items are get your builder's license,
Yep.
get rid of this truck debt.
Got to get rid of them 3 trucks.
Do whatever you have to, because that's just a weight. I mean, no matter
It
how
is.
fast you spin on that
And they
wheel,
just sitting.
that's a weight dragging you down.
They just sitting there, too. It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. So get rid
Get
of
rid
them,
of them.
and find a new private money lender or a hard money lender who can give you some better terms.
That's it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ramon, for sharing all this with us.
Heck
This
yeah.
has been a great intervention. And Patrick and Justin, thanks
Thank
for
you.
lending
Yes,
your
I
wisdom.
appreciate y'all. Thank you, Patrick and Justin. 100%.
My pleasure.
Thanks
It's
for
fun.
having us back.
All right, guys. So after having that conversation with Ramon Harris II, I wanted to follow up 1 month later and see what had happened. So I've got Ramon on the phone with me right now, and Ramon's going to give us the update. Ramon, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Brian? How's it going?
Good. So I was really excited about our conversation because I felt like we made a lot of progress, and I wanted to see how you felt about it.
Oh yeah, the conversation was tremendous, and I've been acting on it since I left up there in Grand Rapids. So we had 3 action items that were given to me, and pretty much I've acted on all 3. So the first one was for me to try to work on getting rid of the debt. I had a deal that took place. I made a large payment on my trucks, and I actually cleaned both of the trucks up, and I have them getting ready to get put back on Craigslist so that we could try to sell them. So I've been working on getting them up and running and everything. So that's kind of been a process, but we back getting them, they're in motion to be sold. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, so that was action item number 1, which was get rid of those trucks. And it sounds like you got to invest a little bit of money into actually cleaning them up and getting them running properly, huh?
Yes, I had to put some money into them. Yeah, so I just been slowly but surely getting them up. You know, I put them back on my plate though. You know, I made them a focus, and that was really my goal, was just to get them back in front of me. I had kind of put it to the side of my mind and let it go before our conversation. So our conversation really helped put that back to main focus, and I really appreciate that.
Great, good for you. So what about getting your broker's license?
So yes, so we were looking at getting the builder's license. When I spoke to both of the guys that were there with you, they both recommended that I should go ahead and get my builder's license to go along with my contracting side of my business. And I've registered for the class. It starts on May 5th. It goes through the 18th, and it's a 5 to 10 p.m. class. So it's an extended class because I try to still run my business during the day, but I got an evening session so that I can give it the focus that it needs and go ahead and get that thing taken care of.
Wow, so you're already signed up and scheduled to take it, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, Livonia, Michigan. It's going down.
Awesome. Good for you. That was a huge item. And then the
Hey.
third one I'm really excited about, because you met someone, a key person at the RPOA conference after our conversation, and I want you to tell us about that.
Yes. So actually, at the RPOA conference, you had a deal room there. And in that deal room, I pitched a few of the deals that I had down here in Wayne County. And in the conversation, I met a gentleman who is a hard money lender, and we actually hit it off very well. And he's actually funding one of the deals that I'm doing down here with my partner. I didn't know that it was him that was doing it, of course, but so we were kind of already doing a deal together. So a relationship was built, and we've been communicating on multiple deals since I've left the RPOA conference. So it was a great relationship building opportunity for me, and it really helped solve my needs that I had.
So it turns out that without knowing it, he was already funding some of the deals that you were doing, but he was funding your partner, who was taking 50% of the profits. Is that correct?
Exactly. That's 100% correct. So in talking at the RPOA conference, he referenced the gentleman, and I'm like, oh, hey, that's one of my partners. And he's like, hey, well, I'm doing a few deals with him. I threw out an address, and he was like, hey, let me check my records. He checks his records, and lo and behold, yes, he's the guy that's funding. He's funding one of our flips right now.
What a great thing to happen. So, did you say that you're working with him on 4 other projects?
Yes. So we've been in negotiations with. So we're about to put an offer in on 3 properties right now. So we had a title company kind of looking at. It's a package deal. So we were trying to kind of get through the title stuff. So we started that yesterday. And then we're looking at another property as well. So 4 properties total that we're looking at. And again, we're in the evaluation process, but they're great deals. So it's just putting the legwork in to get them locked up and get them wrapped up.
Right. So you would be able to go to him for the hard money, and,
exactly,
and then keep your profit after paying him back.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. He requires that I put money down, 5% of my own money up front, which is, again, much less than a lot of the things that I've been doing down here. So, it does require a little bit of investment up front, but in return, I'm able to get the help that I need in order to get my flips from start to finish taken care of.
Well, that's great. I'm real pleased to hear that, and congratulations. So tell our audience, I know leading into the RPOA conference, we do a lot of promotion and tell people why they need to come. But having been there and getting the value from it that you did, what can you tell our audience about next year's RPOA conference?
Oh, man, it's a must. It's a must attend. I would definitely recommend coming. There were so many people there that are actually doing the business that, a lot of people talk about. It's a lot of people that, they speak about things, but they're not actually in the day-to-day grind of it. And there were so many people there that you could actually get real life, real examples from, you know what I'm saying? And the learning was just amazing. Great networking. The gritty, the pretty guys. I've been in communication with Ramon extensively since I left, so it's just been great. I think that coming to those type of events, it only helps your network. And again, if you're able to reach out and kind of get out of your comfort zone and talk to people, you'll find that there's a lot of people doing things that either you're doing or you're aspiring to do, and it's really motivating. So I would definitely encourage everybody that's a listener to try to be at next year's conference, and hopefully I'm up there speaking next year.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely have you back in the deal room too. One of my takeaways from the conference was just our conversation, being able to have Justin and Patrick share their experience with you, and to see you get so much value out of that. So I really appreciate you opening your business to us and letting us talk through it with you.
Hey, no problem. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, and for those of you who are listening, there's a little added bonus after the credits at the end of this episode, because after our conversation, both Justin and Patrick shared with you some of their pain, and
yes.
I'm going to play. The microphone was still rolling, so I'm going to play that for our audience after the end of the episode, so people can enjoy that.
Awesome.
But Ramon, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure getting to know you.
No problem, Brian. Hey, you're awesome, man. Thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to seeing you again.
This episode was sponsored by Green Property Management, managing everything from single-family homes to apartment complexes in the West Michigan area. Find out more at greenpropertymgt.com. And RCB and Associates, helping real estate investors and small business owners navigate the complex world of health insurance and Medicare benefits at rcbassociatesllc.com.
You've been listening to the Rental Property Owner and Real Estate Investor Podcast, brought to you by the Rental Property Owner Association. You can find out more at rpoaonline.org. If you enjoyed this podcast, please go to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and review.
Good job, guys.
Good. That was awesome.
Hopefully we did some good here today.
No, we definitely did some good.
And you know what? There's gonna be a lot of people out there listening to this. They're gonna be in the exact same shoes you're in. Not exactly your shoes,
I
but
know
just
what I'm saying, but yeah.
just the general.
Yeah.
I was there. I mean, I got
remember, you know what?
Well, I didn't figure the podcast was about me, but I'll tell you about me a little bit. I got out of MSU in 2007, and I had a little bit of money. I had some scholarship in MSU, and I was a builder at the time. I didn't have a builder's license, but I would just do like a kitchen or whatever it may be, and I just started generating some capital. Yeah. And then I got to the point by 2009 that I had 40, I think it's maybe 42 grand in the bank account, and I bought my first house for like 41,000. So I took all my cash and put it into that one deal, and I had to lift the house off the foundation to fix the foundation. So I literally lifted it up.
I got a flip like that right now.
My guys dug out the backside. We pushed the wall back up, set the house back on. Like those are the risks we were taking. All the while I was doing projects for other people so that I could pay my friends. So and this is right when I first started dating my wife, who was of course at that time not my wife, but. The decision I had to make was: do I pay my friends or do we go out to eat Friday night? Yeah.
I'll be in them moments too.
Yeah, that's where I was at.
Pay the guys, or we going out this weekend.
But what ended up happening for me is I ended up selling some. I had a carts business that I kind of like. I invented a product that I sold to schools, and we did well on it. So anyway, so that generated enough capital that I was able to fund this house, and it was like to the dollar.
I understand.
So I had nothing extra. Yeah. But I'd be in 67 grand into that first one that I sold for. I probably netted in the 90s, so I ended up making about 25,000. But it was all my money.
Yeah.
So, and I had 100% control over that deal. Yeah. And then I ended up taking that, and I bought 3 more with it. Yeah. And then I, actually ended up wholesaling one of them. The only house I've ever wholesaled was from that 3-house package.
The initial 3 you got.
But I paid 15 for that house, and I sold it to a friend's dad for 27.
Oh yeah.
So all of a sudden I had, and it was like I got the money the second I went from closing to closing.
Right.
So I really didn't even have money into it.
Right.
But it was those little. I guess those aren't little wins. Those are huge wins at the time.
Yeah, man.
But that for me is what generated that capital. Yeah. And then all the while, I'd have because in that package of 3 was my first rental, and I ended up renting it to a doctor friend of mine, and I still own the thing. I'm like probably 35 grand in. I bet it's worth 200 today. Wow, first house outside of our historic district, Heritage Hill.
That's amazing.
But that's for me. That's what it took, and I just had to get that little bit of a foothold.
And that's where I got these 3 flips. So the house that I bought last year, it's in a great area of Detroit. We got it. It was an auction house, $42,000. House worth $120 all day. My partners, it's the guy who doing the wholesaling stuff. They so rich and poor. They just like me too. Yeah. But they doing it at a bigger scale, and they still be rich and poor. So this rehab should have been a 10 grand in and out rehab. I'm a contractor. They got contractors. We still ain't finished the house. We got the house in July last year. We probably need $5 grand to finish this house. We both gonna make $25,000 each, and we that broke that we can't even finish a $5 grand house. You know what I'm saying? I need 5 more grand. So it's little stuff like that. But once we flip it, then that'll be 20 something. Then I got another one like that, the firehouse in English Village. Boom, once I flip that, another 25, 30. So I feel like by the end of this year, even if I stay on this bum pace that I'm on, I'll start having some cash flow. It's just being patient. Don't get too crazy right now. Don't let the current situation put you yourself in a situation that can get you in long-term trouble. You know what I'm saying? Agreeing to some crazy stuff because I'm in a tight spot now. You know what I'm saying? So right now I just been doing my contracting stuff, making sure my current guys is happy. What else y'all got for me? Let's crack this house open. Let's start this rental. Let's just trying to get stuff to generate until some of my flips start clicking. And then that way I'll have the time to go take the builder's license, pay off some of this debt. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about. Get that debt going this year. That's my goal. Take these flips.
And you need to get to a spot where you do an entire deal and it's all your money.
That's it. That's what Jeremy talked about last night. Jeremy was like, his biggest advice to me was that he was like, I know you like OPM. I can tell you love that shit. He said, but bro, I'm gonna need you to put some money. And I'm like, I do, but I never put it up by myself though. It'll be like that deal that I'm in with old boy and them where I'm still 50-50, but I'm putting a lot of my own bread up, but I'm still 50-50 with somebody. So it's like I'll never get ahead, where had I just funded that deal by myself, that would have been my 50,000 profit. Boom, and I'm done. You know what I'm saying? But it'd be bad little tight, tight pocket decisions that I make in the moment. That's like, man, you want to go half with me on this crib? They look at it and be like, hell yeah, dude. You know, again, it makes sense for everybody but me. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, I remember those days where we'd have 3 or 4 going, and I had to wait till we got to one closed before I could finish off the next one.
That's literally how we are.
You're literally
right
making me
Cash
nervous
poor.
just thinking about it, because I remember that.
That's me right now.
I owned 6 houses, and I rented my childhood bedroom from my parents. So I still lived with my parents, and I owned 6 houses.
Dog.
Like
that would have drove me
was
crazy.
how I did it.
That would have drove me
That was
crazy.
how I did it.
But that's
G
it,
shit,
is
though.
we were so stretched
Right?
for cash.
That's G shit though, right there though. I got 6 houses. Where you stay at though? Don't
Right.
worry about that part.
I don't want to answer that.
My own house
I love
isn't
that.
finished because I'm working on all these other
Yeah,
other
I ain't had
weekends.
time to finish it.
But yeah,
Dog, that's
don't worry
crazy.
about it. We'll get to it, honey.
Yes, man. I tell my wife that all the time.
Working
I'm
a
like,
job.
Well, then
trying
I
to
did
do all this stuff.
a live-in flip. So I employ a bunch of my friends. These guys
Yeah.
don't need to hear it again. But I employ a bunch of guys, my friends, and
Yeah.
we all lived together while we were flipping the house like across the street in the backyard, and we were flipping the house that we were living in.
Yeah.
So like I had the old kitchen still set up, but it was just like tile backer as the
basement.
floor.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like my kitchen was just tile backer. Because tile backer's really not that bad.
yeah. Some houses got that. Right?
Yeah, right.
Like
right.
the finished property.
But that was
That was the way it was.
that was the scraping and clawing, and I look back at it and it doesn't bother me.
No.
Like that was
those
just
are the
like-
moments
It
that
was
make
how
you
it
get
was.
like.
Right.
I'm not, and that's the one thing that I can say is like, I'm stressed sometimes. But if somebody asks me, am I happy? Like I'm smiling.
Yeah.
Like I'm not.
Yeah, no
I'm
doubt.
not in no type of place where I'm like, like,
And just
like,
thankful for what you got.
yeah, come on, man. I'm
Even
super-
if it's a trucking thing, and
Come on.
those are still opportunities a lot of people aren't
Hey,
afforded.
come on, man. So that's what I'm saying. Like I'm thankful to God. I don't know if you guys are into that, but like I'm super heavy like that. Like you say, like the opportunities that and every
Yeah.
time I need something, it just come through. So faith is super high. It's like I just got faith because a bill. It's time to pay a bill. It's like, whoop! Well, look, this just popped up. I'll be like, hell yeah! Like, thank you, Lord. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was
that's how I'm living
I was
right
in
now.
Nicaragua on a medical mission trip, and they were like literally like a good piece of cardboard was a big deal because that was the roof that they used. I'm not exaggerating.
I
It was
hear you.
literally how it was. And I'll never forget, like we were about to come on the plane, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I have at least 100 people on my cell phone I could call and go live in their basement right now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
they
there's
cardboard is the roof.
Just think about the resources that we have access to, that you have access
Yeah.
to. Like, so maybe you're in a bad spot now, or you're
I'm
broke,
not
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you still have so much exposure
Yeah.
to all these resources and all these things.
That's
and,
how I look
And if
at
you're
it.
out on the street, I bet there's a lot of people in your life that would take you in.
Man, come on, stop.
Like, so you're already so far ahead of so
no.
many people in the world.
Like I said, I got my wife a nurse. Like we got a nice house. We stay on the golf course. Like I'm able to pay my regular house bills.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The
It's
house
just-
bills are perfectly fine. It's just that I'm working so hard and there's no extra. It's just like, man, how do I work like this? I'm in these type of scenarios.
And I
we
work-
flipping houses and you still broke. Like how does that work? Like mentally. it
Yeah,
kinda-
but you get there.
I worked a regular job,
Yeah.
which is not a regular job. It's a ridiculous construction job. So we work like 80 plus hours a week in the summer. Okay. For 4 years, I did
I gotta
this.
introduce
I built up a rental
Nelson.
portfolio of 10 houses before I
That's
quit to work on it.
That's good.
But it was
friend of mine
nights,
showed up on
weekends,
it.
everything.
Oh,
all the
thank
time.
you,
Patrick.
He's
So
the one
it
building
takes work.
55
That's
units
where
up by
I'm
my
at.
house.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not.
Oh, really?
You're
Gentlemen,
doing
I don't
a
know if you
good
wanna meet
thing.
him.
I'm
You're
just
doing
growing
good.
up.
No,
Maybe let me ask you something.
big truck.
So I didn't stop the microphone,
I know it's a thorn in the side.
During your
I know,
story?
Forget about it.
but I would never
You try
put
not
it
to
in the
forget about it.
podcast
You get nervous, it's gonna
unless
free
you
up
said
so
it was
much of
okay.
your life.